Hi everyone. So in source of finance, if you remember that we talk about these organizations that they need money for different reasons. The business organization need money for startup capital, working capital, expansion, and emergency funding. We talk about these case studies and two case studies, and also we talk about the business need money for different reasons. And there's a difference between short-term needs and long-term needs. Short-term needs mean financial need that less than 1 year. Long-term need is anything like more than 1 year, goes that called long-term need. So that's a short term and long term. The definition: money borrowed for 1 year or less. Short term, money borrowed, anything borrowed for more than 1 year, it's a long term thing. Okay. And business, we talk about the people need cash. Business need cash for mainly like several reasons: startup capital, working capital, expansion, and the emergency funding. So startup capital, people need money to buy equipment and stuff. And working capital, we need to have like circulating capital to pay wages and all the administration costs. Emergency funding, we need, for example, in case of emergencies like machine breakdowns, in case of a pandemic, and we need money for expansion. Expansion purpose mean like to develop new products, to branching out to overseas market, diversification, like that. We talk about the main reasons for the business plan. There are parts of the questions are there linked to these sections today. In this session, we are going to talk about the mainly the internal source of finance related questions in the book past papers. Right. You can see here internal source of finance. There are main three internal source of finance. Internal source means the money which generate coming inside the business. We call the internal source of finance. Finance generated business from its own means. So internal source of finance, there are advantages of using main internal source of finance. You can see there is a commonly, like we talk about personal saving, retained profit, selling assets. You know exactly how much amount of money available with you. You know whether it is sufficient or not. Therefore, you have a full control of these internal source of finances when you are going for a project. You know whether you have enough personal savings, retained earnings, or the asset value. You know whether the sufficiency of the thing. You know definitely, and there is no cost involved in that thing. Like no need to pay any interest, any administration cost, nothing of this, because this is your own money in organization. And however, the disadvantage of mainly internal source of finance we talk about, sometimes it is not sufficient, not enough for the project sometimes. That's why we have to go to other options. And also sometimes retained profits and person selling assets and everything. Sometimes the other directors of the business may not like that decision to use the retained earnings because these are reserves. Sometimes they will be difficult. Sometimes directors might not like to use that thing. Some sources as another like a barrier or limitation of that thing. And some other thing is like startup companies, like small businessmen, they don't have sometimes enough retained profit. They don't have personal savings and they don't have enough assets to sell, like that. So interest source is not always a common for everyone, for small businessmen and startup company. This is not sometimes not possible. That's why they always wanted to go for a bank loan and all that thing. So this is the one we talk about like a yesterday thing, all about internal sources. So let's go to this activity number 1. Here, the wedding planning in activity number 1, right? Wedding planning, you can see in 2014, Nikki Rani set up a wedding planning business in Pune, India. She had to raise almost 100,000 rupees to get started. The money was needed to buy a small vehicle, a smartphone contract, a laptop, and to pay for some advertising in some wedding magazine. So that's the initial capital they need for a startup business, to buy a smartphone, to buy a laptop, and to buy a small vehicle, and some advertising parts. These are the initial startup cost. And then Nikki had very good negotiation skills, right? Negotiation skills, which she thought helped her get better prices when negotiating for wedding venues, cakes, flowers, music, right? So this is important skill for an entrepreneur, like especially negotiating skills, especially how to get the good price, better prices. If you have a good negotiation skills. For example, raising money to get started was not easy. She approached a local bank in Pune, but was told that they would only lend her some of the money needed, not everything. So she would have to provide the majority of the capital herself. Right? She would have to put the majority of the capital herself. After 12 months of investigating many sources, she eventually drew up a financing plan. So figure 25.1 shows the different sources available. It's in this pie chart. that how she collect that money. So 30% came from the her personal savings, and you can see 10,000, or that if you add them all together, 30 plus 40, 30 plus 10, 40, 40 plus 20, 60, 60 plus 30, 90. So 90,000 is there, and then you can see everything. 30,000 came from personal savings, 10,000 came from gift from grandfather, and also 20,000 came interest-free loan from a father, and another 30,000 came from a bank loan. So you have to find out the calculation part to work out the percentage of the funding provided by the bank. So it's only just a fraction, small calculation. Uh, percentage of the funds provided by the bank. Bank's money, you can see green color one, 30,000 out of 90,000. You can see if you it's easy, 3 over 9, you can see one third. Ne? So 33.33. 33.33 percentage is easy. It's easy calculation percentage. I'll show you the way that you have to calculate. So this case you can see is 30,000 over 90,000 into 100. That's 33.3%. 33.3% is the answer. Always put the percentage sign in your answers. Otherwise, because normally this kind of a calculation questions comes in exams for is carried 2 marks. So if you don't put the percentage sign, or if you don't show the answers, sometimes 2 decimal points, sometimes we can deduct 1 mark, right? So and the second one, what is meant by internal source of finance? The definition of internal source of finance is very easy question. Yeah. Anyone? Okay, the person one. Okay, raise the hand. Right. Okay, Anton, you can tell the answer. What is internal source of finance?
Yeah, sir. So it means money generated from within the business itself.
Excellent. Correct. Yes. That's the answer. Money generated within the business. So this case definition, you can say internal source of finance come from within the business. Before a business can start trading, the owners have to provide some capital. So this is an internal source of finance. And in this case, that's application point. In this case, Nikki has raised 60,000 from personal savings like gift and family loans, that you can see gift coming from the grandfather and the family loan coming from the father, also part of the internal source. And the bank is also providing some external finance. So that is this question. We can say what is meant by question is not normally in our command word is we are not using this command word. We are using outline. Outline what is meant by internal source of finance. Like, oh, you can see explain, but explain question no need of application because they are using application. So it can be outline question. So you can write like an outline question, or it can be like state question. Okay, so like that outline what is meant by internal source of finance. So therefore, you have to write the definition and you have to write down the point what is meant by the internal source, and you have to give example from the case study as well, right? And the third question also you can see the describe one advantage to Nikki of using internal source of finance. So normally this question, describe questions also the command word is wrong. Command word you can say analyze 2 advantages. So there are past paper questions also like that. Analyze 2 benefits. Analyze 2 benefits of to Nikki of using this is one advantage. You can see so therefore if you ask one advantage or 1 point, therefore definitely this can be a state question, or this can be a outline question. Outline one advantage, Nikki, of using internal source of finance. Okay, again, Anthony, you can tell the answer.
Yes, so we can say that one of the internal source of finance could be retained profits, sir. So like the advantage is like if the money is already available, readily available in the business, but the disadvantage could be that there could be disputes between the owners. They could disagree of how to use that profits, sir.
Yes.
That's yes.
Yeah, theory part, okay, but the application part, you can see this case, we have to use the available internal sources. So,
yes,
yeah, it's a startup business, you don't have retained profit. So, you can say personal savings, gift from
okay, sir.
interest-free family loan. These are internal sources. This blue color and orange color, these are the internal sources. Yeah, your point is correct. Therefore, that no need to pay interest is, you know, readily how much is available from that source. These are the answers. You can see the marking scheme, it says the advantage of using internal sources is one of the main advantage of using internal source of finance is that they are cheap and there is no interest to pay and no administration charges. So these are the main advantages. It is a cheaper method and no interest has to pay and no administration charges. So this will help to keep the business cost down and reduce the financial burden on the business. So there is no application is seen. So this can be an explain question. Explain one advantage. 3-mark question in exams. 3 marks carry. So explain one advantage of using internal source of finance. So one of the main advantage using internal source of finance is that they are cheap. 1 mark. And then you have to explain how it will be cheap. It will be cheap because of there is no interest has to be paid. That's development part of the answer, and no administration charges. That development part, and then that's another 1 mark. And finally, this will help to keep the business cost down and reduce the financial burden on the business. That's called another point. So this is the, you can see 3 sentences are there interrelated. That's how you get the 3 marks. Sometimes we call this method BLT, because leads to therefore. So like that. So sometimes we call BLT model or bacon, lettuce, tomato, that the burger method. One of the main, they'll say the main reason first of all, the because reason, and then which is leads to, and therefore, like the development point and the evaluation point. You can see like one explain questions. You have to have like 3 sentences with interrelated 1 point development points, right? That's how you have to write everything. So that's the first activity of the text. Right. So now external source of finding and everything I'm going to do in my next session. So we'll go to past paper questions based on the internal source of finance. So today actually I have one past paper questions. This is 2019 IGCSE paper 1 regional paper. 2019 IGCSE paper 1 regional paper. They're asking a 6-mark question. Analyze question came that time. Analyze the benefits to Lavender of using an internal source of finance for its expansion plans. Look at the question came from internal source of finance. Analyze the benefits to Lavender. We'll read the case study first of all, get idea. You don't know what is Lavender means. So then you can write good application points there. So mainly they're asking analyze benefits. For 6 mark, you have to write 2 benefits. Okay, benefits. So therefore, for a 6-mark question, you have to write 2 benefits with the application. So we are giving marks, application 3 marks, and an analysis 3 marks. So you can write like a 2 paragraph, first benefit and second benefit. We'll read the case study and we'll come back. This is question number 4, part B. In this case. Okay, let's go to the case study. Paper 1. This is small business paper. This is Edexcel 2019 paper. 19 June, paper 1, and the regional paper. Right. And to us, a small case study. Lavender is a Malaysian business started with a bakery, pastisserie, and then a takeaway shops, and has now developed into several other businesses. El Cafe, which is a self-service cafe selling a variety of cakes and drinks. And second one is El Bistro, a casual dining place with a selection of Asian food. And El Table is a formal restaurant that uses a high quality and organic. These are 3 market segment. So their business 3 names are El Cafe, El Bistro, and El Table. So 3 different market segments. El Cafe only just a self-service cafe, variety of cakes and drinks. And El Bistro is a casual dining place. All the Asian foods are available. And then El Table is a formal restaurant that use high quality and organic ingredients. So high quality organic means this is their market segment. Upmarket segments. You can see high income or something organic ingredients are expensive. Organic restaurants and high quality. So this will be their the top niche market segment El Table. So therefore there are 3 markets are there, 3 restaurants available. So even MCQ questions also there are the method available for like could use to be cash flow problem. So this question we'll discuss later on. Let's go to our question. Now we have idea about what is meant by internal the case study. You have idea is a restaurant business, right? Now let's go to our question number 4, part B. Question number 4, part B. Question is analyze the benefits of Lavender using internal source of finance for its expansion plans. Okay, is anyone any volunteer, anyone who can answer this question? You have raise your hand. 6 mark question. So this case also, main benefits of internal sources. I think you already like previously that the activity number 1, the wedding planning, same thing. The thing you can say internal sources. You know how much is actually available with you in return profits or in a family loan or something. If so, something you know how much is readily available with you for the funding. Therefore, you can manage that thing very well. That's one advantage of internal source. You know how much available with you, and second advantage is there is no cost involved. So therefore, it is cheap method. So like previous question also we discussed, you can say it is very cheaper method, and it's not like no administration cost, no interest cost, and you have to apply that in the case study. Case study is a restaurant case study, right? So I'll show you the how you have to write this answer, the marking scheme. So this is how we have to write this question. Lavender, AO2, application 3 marks and analysis 3 marks. You can see application in the points of application, you can see there are 2 points because Lavender will know the amount of internal finance they available. So that's the first advantage application. Lavender will know amount of internal finance they have available. So by using, you can see they evaluate that point, explain that point. By using the internal source of finance, Lavender has the money straight away in its restaurant. So restaurant is another application point, you can say, in which is restaurant and does not have to go through a lengthy process to get the money. Lengthy process to get the money. So no need to go through a lengthy process to get the money. When you're applying a bank loan, you have to wait a little bit. So that will take some time to assess you. They will take some time to actually approve the loan. So it will take some time. So here, in terms of finance, you don't need to go through such a lengthy process. That's the first point. And you can say, moreover, another point, the money does not have to be borrowed or negotiated. The money does not have to be borrowed or negotiated, which means Lavender will not have to pay the money back. So does not need to worry about the monthly repayments or interest associated with the external source of finance. That's how you have to write this answer. You have to talk about with the Lavender this case study. That you have to understand the mainly the context part. So in the restaurant industry, so therefore they know how much is readily available, and as a result, they don't need to go through a lengthy process. That's how you develop this point, analyze this point. Therefore, you don't need to go through such a lengthy process of getting the money. And the second one, you can see moreover point, the money does not have to be borrowed or negotiated. You can see it is very cheaper method. And then you can say to explain that point, how it become more cheaper and no need to borrow because they don't have to pay money back. They don't need to pay the money back. So no need to worry about the monthly repayments or interest associated with the external source of funds. So you can see this answer, they commonly talk about the internal sources, not about retained profit, not about the selling asset, not about the personal savings. They talk about common advantages of the common benefits of internal source of finance. So this kind of questions are available in our past. This is a good 6-mark question came recently 2019 June paper. Analyze 2 benefits of using internal source of finance. So when you're writing like that, write 2 benefits and apply that thing to the case study of the given case study you have to apply. Okay, so that's the question for P. I've got another question. This is 2019 November, right? 2019 November paper. Analyze the importance of the cash to TADS. This is 2019 past 2020 past paper question, 2020 November past paper question. Because this time like 2020 June paper was not there because of this pandemic, and they postponed this exam to November. So this is like unseen exams. So in TADS you can see the this is called the drumming school, right? We'll read the case study and come back. Analyze the importance of cash or finance. This is the first section. You have to attach that thing I told you, like why business need money. What is the importance of having money? I told you there are 4 reasons. So you can use that knowledge like startup capital, working capital, expansion, and emergency funding thing. That knowledge you can use here when you're writing this answer. This is also another analyze question. They say analyze the importance. That means again benefits. So let's read the case study and come back. We'll see what are the points that we can write. This is another paper 1. It's a small business paper. This is a case study. TADS mean the alternative drum school. The alternative drum school, TADS, was set up in the wealthy area of Crickdale, England in 2008 by Ollie Tanner, who had a passion for and enjoyed drumming. Right? Ollie invested all of his savings into the drumming school. That is, he used internal source, his personal savings to the drumming school. He saw the potential of being located away from other drumming schools. I mean, the location Crickdale, England, it's a like a separate area from other places because they are playing normally like a lot of rich people are living in this area, the Crickdale. Cricklet. And then the Oli promotes his business by writing columns in his local papers, performing at local music festivals, and by word of mouth recommendation. That is about the marketing side. They're talking about how we promote the business, writing columns, performing local music festivals, word of mouth. These are all above the line or below the line. What do you think? Is it above the line promotions or below the line examples? Right? Yeah, I can see some people chatting. Yeah, in chat line, yes, it's below the line promotions. Yes, only promotes. Yes. Okay, there. What is his answer?
Sir, could you repeat the question again, sir?
Yeah, is it below the line promotions or above the line promotions? This situation. Second.
So it's below the line. No?
Below the line, yeah, because they are not using any mass media methods. So he actually promotes like in a small geographical area by writing column in local papers and then performing in music festivals and word of mouth recommendation. He has invested heavily in computer technology to allow students to produce the music that they enjoy playing, right? So that they can enjoy the music. Computer technology is there because it will be like increase the quality of the sounds and everything. They allow the students to produce the music that they enjoy playing. Only finds it difficult to maintain a good work-life balance, right? So that's a drawback of his business. He finds it difficult to maintain a good work-life balance, and Ollie currently works 60 hours a week in a business that does not have reliable profit. So he works 60 hours in a week. So you can see like normal person, if you're doing a job, you have to work like 8 hours a day and then 8 times 5, only like 40 hours. If you work Saturday, that's another 48 hours maximum, but he works 60 hours. So that means even Saturday, Sundays also have to work. So that's why we feel like it will be difficult because you don't have personal time, like, working, but no, like normal life. So this is the normal. It's not a startup, like a story. They started in 2008, like few years back. So the question was they are talking about what's the importance of cash for the Oli tenant, right? The question was what is the importance of cash to Oli in this case study? This is the question, 6-mark question. Analyze the importance of cash to TADS. In this case, let's see how we have to write. Anyone, can you say anything like, what do you think, guys? Like, analyze the importance of cash. What is your recommendation in this case? Okay, again, we can see Divine. Yes. What is your answer?
Sir, like they need cash to pay off their employees, like immediate cash.
Okay. That is like working capital, right? Okay.
Because then, so wait, I'm thinking, sir.
Yeah, you can see here that this is a business like a drumming school, and like he can actually hire some people like tutors, like so you can pay salaries for the tutors. Is correct. And also the other expenses, like you have to you need cash to pay your electricity bill, right? And you have to pay some rent because the rented location, you have to pay the rent. So these are the main important things, like startup. This is not a startup cap. You can't say you need money to start up business, but you can say sometime working capital, like we'll have to pay for electricity bill, water bill, telephone, because it's using computer and everything. So definitely there will be electricity cost. And then you can talk about the sometimes paying for that's amazing, right? The application point. So you can't talk about the startup business and the emergencies and everything. So before you have to touch the case study material. So case study is a drumming school. So what are the drumming school expenses? Some you have to pay for the tutors, because in some part in this question, they are saying he's saying he wanted to actually expand, diversify the business sometimes, not only drumming. this is not only drumming. He wanted to actually say in the question number 3 that he objective to expand the business by giving lessons for different musical instruments. So in the question 3 says like that his objective now to expand by giving lessons for different musical instrument. Right now he's only using drums. It's a drummer, professional drummer. So but he like to introduce piano, he like to introduce other instrument, mean guitar, piano, it can be cello, it can be flute. So you have to recruit some people in this case, because I don't think Oli can play all these instruments and he can train everyone. So right now he occupies 60 hours, so definitely he has to recruit another tutors and everything. You have to imagine like that. You have to live in the case study, right? So we are reading some case study. If you are writing a business paper, so you have to imagination is really important. You have to think about the case study. If you are the Oli, then what you have to do? So to do this thing, it will need to analyze the financial position. They're asking after what is liquidity. These are our future lessons. Revenue and everything. So this question they're asking question number 3. Analyze the importance of cash to Oli, TADS. Okay, this is the marking scheme for that. So 2 points are here. You can see. Right. If TADS has sufficient cash, it can pay its electricity bills for the music studio. You have to say like that, not just electricity, because electricity is a common name. There's electricity for what? Electricity for music studio. If you just write to pay electricity, no marks, no application, guys. So you have to be specific definition, specific application, right? So the money, the finance is important to Olitan or TADS. It can pay its electricity bills for the music studio. Then analysis point, if TADS cannot afford to pay its bills, then the electricity would be cut and no lessons would take place. Look at the way. So someone can say, just say, okay, to working capital management. So we need money for the working capital. Money is important for working capital. So what are the example of working capital? Electricity bills for the music studio. And then explain. If he doesn't have enough cash, if he couldn't afford to pay its bills, then you have to say, then electricity would be cut and then no lessons could take place. You understood? So this is how you have to develop. Take 1 point
Yes.
and explain. Second point, you can see the second para. If TADS run out of cash, it means it cannot pay its music teachers another expenditure. Electricity is another one, and another expenses will be other music teachers, because this case, I think they mentioned there is teaching other musical instruments also, not only drums, violin, guitar, piano, so many, you name it, everything is there. So, and you can see that's definition, and you can see explain that point, that application point for music teacher salaries. If TADS can no longer pay its teachers, it cannot offer any music lessons. So that's why you say the negative part of that. If what happens if they cannot pay their teachers? What happens if you cannot settle their electricity bills? So no electricity, no music, no computer, no electricity, no teachers. Sorry, no salary, no teachers. Like that, you can see that's how you have to write. You have to live with the application. Always the application part is the most important element in this paper, because every question you can see 6 marker. Half of the marks goes to application, A or 2. Right? If you talk about the 9 marker question, 3 marks goes to application. 12 marker question, again, like level based marking. So application, you can see to be a level 3 answer. So you have to write detailed application of knowledge and understanding of the business concept. And you have to deconstruct the business information and issues, find in detail interconnection points in logical terms. Chain of reasoning. What type of issues you have identified? If no electricity pay and no music lessons, no teacher salaries and no teachers and no music lessons, like that, issues you have to identify. So then that's how you have to write a 6 marker. So 2 points you have to write, 2 main paragraph. When you're writing this answer, you have to mainly find out the 2 important based on 1 element. Like it is not about the startup capital. It's all about the working capital management, and giving 2 examples like electricity bills and music teacher salaries. Okay, so that's how you have to write an answer like that. So mainly this kind of a questions you can see like 6-mark question. I think you can easily understand. Analyze the importance of cash and everything. This question. Okay, I'll show you another question. Which came from internal source of finance. Yeah, you see the Lavender case study same. If you go to the beginning of this question, they're asking calculation question. Define the term short-term finance. 1-mark question. 1-mark question. So short-term finance mean anyone who can tell the answer? Yes, always one guy, right? Okay. What about others? Okay, 2 participants here we have. Okay. Okay. Okay, Asim, you can tell the answer.
Sir, short-term finance is like it should be paid within a year.
Correct. Should pay within year or less than year. Short-term finance, that's a definition. You can see that also the market scheme definition. You can see question 1 part B definition. The short-term definition is here. The correct definition of short-term 1 mark. Money borrowed that must be paid back within 12 months for 1 year. Right? You can say money borrowed that must be paid back within 12 months. That's a perfect definition. Right? So you can say without saying 12 months, you can say even 1 year. The money borrowed that must be paid back within 1 year, or within 12 months. Easy questions, right? You can see now every part of this our lesson. So we talk about mainly about the internal source of finance, internal source of funding. So you can see the past paper questions came from this. Only I just actually go through only 2 past papers, 2019 June paper, 2020 November paper. So everything we talk about, there are possible questions. But if you refer other papers also from 2011 onwards, like if you refer the all past paper question also, there are plenty of questions are available. Even sometimes 9-mark questions are there from this section. Right. So mainly those are the main past paper questions and everything we talk about. We talk about today the activity number 1 also. Activity number 1 mainly we talk about the wedding planning thing, and we do some calculation question also, and we talk about the internal source of financing, which came from 2 case studies. With the application, how can you write that kind of answers? Okay.